I hate to make him the butt of my jokes, but I don't really care. I don't really know him
He
like
should. I'd help him with his titles. I really am not a fan of their titles. I would improve those. I would. I would. Because a lot of people
that.
don't know. My manager actually trained me, and he managed. I just stole. You know how goated I am. I don't want to brag,
No,
but
talk your talk.
I
Talk your
stole
talk.
I stole Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, Candace Owens, like all their YouTube manager. He just quit, so he works for me now. So
Nice.
I was like,
Flex.
I
Hey,
stole
hey,
him.
flex.
So yeah,
Light
yeah. So
flex.
so so he my manager just taught me like titles and thumbnails and like that sort of thing. So
Mhm.
I always look at channels through the lens of like titles and thumbnails. And yeah,
Yep.
I have some notes if he wanted them, but
Yes. Yes. Do you ever look back at your content? When me and Kev, we used to have conversations, and one of the things that he always told me was that he left up his content that he would first make, even though when he went back and looked at it, it was like cringe for him, right? Because he's like,
Mhm.
God, I like, all he can do is see the flaws in himself of when he had first started making content. Do you ever remove or take down content, or you know what I'm saying? Like, do you ever look back at stuff and say, I don't really like that anymore? I want to remove it? Because I just kind of leave up everything. I never remove anything.
For the most part, I leave stuff up. There is times where I have taken a video down because I think I put too much like personal information in it. Because
Oh,
back then no one was watching, so
yeah, yeah,
now it's like I might have said like one time I think you could kind of see where my parents like lived or something,
yeah,
you know, and I was like, ah, I'll take that one down. There's too many people on here now.
yeah. Yeah, I'm now in the process of continuously changing my addresses regularly because my address is somehow ending up on the internet all the time. So I don't know what that is, but
Yeah, they got mine too. Not my new one, my parents one. That's what bothers me is when they go after like your family. It's like you're making people pay for my decision to
yeah,
be on the internet, and it kind of makes you feel bad because like they didn't choose that, you know.
hmm yeah, it's a wild situation, but I just kind of expected it as a content creator. I never really got on the internet expecting it for this to be anything. I was using this as an
Mhm.
ability to be able to market myself in corporate America more effectively when I first got on it. And then it just kind of morphed into whatever it is today. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know, P. So what's next for Pearl?
I fly back to London today.
Today? How long of a
Hmm.
flight is that?
12 hours.
Jesus
Kill me.
Christ. It's a long flight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and then we're gonna do shows again, and we're opening wife school. Hafiz had some thoughts that he felt like I did not do it the way he wanted to. Um, asking me about season seven. I'm like, let me finish season one.
Yeah,
Let me.
yeah.
I was so irritated. Then
Would
he's
you
like, this
interview
was
him
my idea.
again?
I'm like,
Would
what do
you
you mean it was your idea?
would you interview him again?
um, I don't want to say never. Uh, maybe. No, no, I don't know.
At least you considered it.
I mean, well, I'm just thinking like I'd maybe go on a panel or something if you wanted to like, it's going viral if you wanted to like talk about it. But would I go out of my way to interview him again when you spent the last time I interviewed you, you called me, you compared me to a porn star, you called me a grifter, a fraud, a panderer, and then every time I said, "Did you like?" I think that's what you're saying that about me, and they'd be like, "Oh, not you, female red pillars." I'm like, "There's like five of us," so like, like I don't know who else. There's no one bigger than me. Like,
Do you think
like I don't know who else.
that's true? That is very true. All right, I got two more questions
So
because
those,
the longer we had this conversation, the more
okay.
questions I come up with. Do you think that you don't have to answer this? Do you think that he's like torpedoing himself? Like he's actually looking really bad, like he's Will Smith in himself right now? Like just from a content creator's perspective, based off of
Yes.
what you know, do
Yes.
you think he's hurting
I
himself?
think Yeah, I think if you build up an audience on one thing and then turn on them, they'll never trust you again.
Yeah.
That's my Yeah. So if you build up an audience saying this is what I believe, and then it would be like if tomorrow I did a men are trash rant,
Yeah.
that I would be done. I would be done. I don't believe that. I would never say that, but that's like the equivalent of what he's doing.
Yeah. I think a lot of people I see him comparing him to Derrick Jackson right now. They're
I
saying
don't
that
know.
that's kind of like based off of his rhetoric that that's the lane that he trying to fill or something like that. I don't know what his objective is. I'm genuinely curious as to what it is that he's trying to do right now.
Mm, I don't know. I don't know. I think he just wants to listen to himself talk, tell everyone else what to do. You know what's funny? You know what's funny? Okay. It reminded me of my one-on-one session with him. It reminded me of my one-on-one
You
session
spoke
with
about that in the interview. I seen that
him.
part.
Yeah, well, because when I did that, I was actually kind of mad. I didn't really get what I wanted out of it. I thought he was cool at the time, but it was like I would ask him a question and he'd give me a rant about how to not do it for money.
Hmm.
And then I'd ask him like another question in this like one on one, and then he'd be like, "Well, you can't do it for money." Da, 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 da. And I'm like, "Yeah, but like, what's?" Because my question in that interview was like, "What are the best ways to monetize on a platform?"
Hmm.
And so like, there's ad revenue, super chat. Like, I just want to know like, what's the best way to do it?
Well, then he
And
would break down and he would say, "Well, YouTube take this percentage of super chats
that's what
and
I was hoping
yeah,
for at the time. Or like, should I pursue brand? You know, because at the time I was making nothing, so I was like, I got
right,
to make
right."
something. So
Well, it depends on what platform you on, but yeah, I got what you're saying.
yeah. And yeah, he would just give me this. It was like I remember getting off that call and being like, "That was a waste of my money," because he just told me don't do it for money, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Okay, but you got to make something."
yeah, that's pretty interesting. Well, things have changed. Looks like he needs to book a call with you. I hate to make him the butt of my jokes, but I don't really care. I don't really know him
He
like
should. I'd help him with his titles. I really am not a fan of their titles. I would improve those.
that.
I would. I would. Because a lot of people
Oh,
don't know. My manager actually trained me, and he managed. I just stole. You know how goated I am. I don't want to brag,
no,
but
talk your talk.
I
Talk your
stole
talk.
I stole Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, Candace Owens, like all their YouTube manager. He just quit, so he works for me now. So
Nice.
I was like,
Flex.
I
Hey,
stole
hey,
him.
flex.
So yeah,
Light
yeah. So
flex.
so so he my manager just taught me like titles and thumbnails and like that sort of thing. So
Mhm.
I always look at channels through the lens of like titles and thumbnails. And yeah,
Yep.
I have some notes if he wanted them, but
Yes. Yes.